Hey, everybody, welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson, and I am excited to go on a journey with you today on the power of multifamily investing and why it's important, why you have what it takes to be successful, and why you should tell yourself that daily. I'm telling you what, I truly believe that if you believe it, you can achieve it. In my life, it has manifested itself so many times that when I truly focused on something and I sold out to the idea, no matter what came in front of me, the obstacles that would come in front of me, I always found a way to focus on my goal and overcome those obstacles and ultimately lead to success. Guys, I'm so thankful that you listen to this podcast. I hope that I reach you in some meaningful way, that you get lots of juice, lots of energy out of this podcast, but more importantly, that you learn some of the tricks and tools and tips and things that really help make a difference along your multifamily journey. So before we start, I just want to go over a couple things. First of all, I love it when you take the time to go to iTunes and leave me a review. It really does mean a lot. And again, I just wanted to plug that and say I'm thankful. I think we have 159 reviews, and that's not bad. But I would like it to get to like 300. And the only way that happens if you take the time out of your day. If we inspire you, if this podcast today inspires you or gives you something, some juice, I would just ask you to go out there and let us know about it, right? If you want to learn how to be part of our Kahuna deals, we actually have a process that we want to get to know you and create a pre-existing substantive relationship with you. And in order to do that, you simply go to kahunainvestments.com, kahunainvestments.com, and then you're going to click and get into the deal room button. That's going to start a process for you to learn more about us. You'll get on a one-on-one Zoom call. We'll talk about your financials, your goals, what you want to do, what's your time horizon, really just to get to know you a lot better and really create that substantive relationship that's required so that we can show you all our future deals. Make sure you take the time to get over there. Like to get to know you and open you up to our world. Okay, so today's podcast, I was thinking about what I want to do today. Like, what am I in the mood to do, more importantly? And I come to this a lot, and I know I have a recurring theme a lot of times, but I just want to tell you why mindset matters, why what you think, what you believe, and the actions that you take along the way are so vitally important. Because listen, most of you that are listening to this podcast, you are on some type of journey. You've decided somewhere along the way that, hey, I'm going to take time out of my day and I'm going to enrich my mind. I'm going to try to learn some more clues about the game of real estate and more importantly, the game of multifamily investing. And so, first of all, I'm honored to have you listen to me. That is a true honor. And I believe that each and every one of you, like, you're different. The majority of the world out there right now is like a bunch of freaking salmon swimming upstream, and everybody's fighting to get up the damn stream. But you, my friend, I'm going to tell you this right now, you are different. You are not following all the other fish because you're taking time to educate yourself. Most people that I know hated school or didn't like school, or they went to college, and as soon as they got their college degree, that is the moment that they stopped feeding their mind. And it's sad and it's sickening, but that's not you. You are listening to this podcast because you are different. There's something about you. There's something about your DNA that says, I want more, that I want to matter, that I want to be somebody, that I want passive income every month, whether I work or not, that I want to make a difference. And I'm telling you, it is that reason why I show up every week to give you it, to bring it in a way that I feel like most people don't, because most people are too scared to talk about the dark side, to talk about all the crap that can go wrong, to talk about their mistakes, to talk about their failure. But I'm telling you, that is the prerequisites to play this game. Because that which is easy does usually not pay off. That which is hard, if you do it long enough, will make your life easy. That's just the facts, guys. When you do hard work and do hard things to benefit you and make your success, eventually those things that were hard will actually become easy, and or at least easier. And it really is where growth happens. And I just want to tell you right now that your mindset as you go about this business, it does matter. What you tell yourself every day does matter. You know, I remember when I first got into real estate, you know, I was just a newbie, and all I wanted to do is like, man, I got to read all these books. And I was going on a journey for information. I was reading everything I could. I was trying to listen in. Back then we didn't have YouTube wasn't as popular, but I was trying to feed my mind with everything that I could to get and glean, you know, a couple pieces of wisdom that would help me on my journey. Eventually, I started to find out that what I really needed was mentorship, right? I needed someone to help guide me, someone that was closer to the source than a book that was written 5, 6, 10 years ago. I needed something that was actually working right now. And this is why I love listening to, you know, podcasts and, you know, truly, you know, YouTube videos and things that are more recent, because you can get closer to the source. And I just believe that the closer you are to the source, that where you can have some people positively influence you. Because really, if you were to ask yourself right now, who's your 5 friends? Who's the 5 people closest to you? What do they possess? You know, like, because a lot of us, we need to be getting rid of some of those friends, because some of those friends are not the right ones, and we know it. The ones that are all negative Nelly all the time. You come up with some great ideas, and all they want to do is poo-poo on your ideas and tear you down and bring you down. Once you proclaim that you want to be different, the world has a way of clawing you and grabbing you and sucking you right back in. And that is why mindset matters. Because as you start to go on this journey and you really start to believe that you can do it, as soon as you make that change of mind, the forces, the law of Murphy's Law is working against you, okay? Your family, your friends, the ones that are the closest to you most of the time are the ones that are going to be the distractions trying to tear and claw you away from that which you believe. And whose opinion matters? You. Listen, most of us, it is hard enough to change ourselves than to have to try to change other people. Do you hear me? Like, it's a big enough full-time job to change Corey Peterson than to change Corey Peterson's friends and their beliefs. That's, quite frankly, I believe it's impossible. You can't change other people. But my friend, you can change yourself. And the first place that change occurs is in your mind. Your mind is a supercomputer. It is capable of unlocking so much of your potential, but the problem with most of us is that we barely use it, and we're not using it to its full potential. On this journey, you're going to get hiccups, right? And you're going to get things that are going to go wrong, because, like, you've got to have courage to be an entrepreneur. First of all, courage. What is courage? I think I listen to a lot of World War II stories and about the airborne and how they jumped out of a good flying airplane. But actually, when they made the jump into Germany, it wasn't good flying. It was craziness. And a lot of them will say, we were all scared, but we were all focused on the mission, right? The courage is when you are scared. Courage is when you're scared, but you go anyways. And that's what the greatest generation did. That World War II generation, they were scared, but they went anyways. They went into danger knowing that they don't exactly know the outcome. And that's a much like entrepreneurship, is that sometimes we don't know the exact outcome of all the inputs that we're doing. And you just have to go and have the courage to go. And sometimes you're going to make some mistakes. That's okay. But how you limit those mistakes is by having, surrounding yourself with mentors and leadership and the right people to help influence your decisions. Now, what are the right people? I believe the right people, if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're in the multifamily game, is to surround yourself with a successful, keyword, successful people that are successful in multifamily real estate, that are doing it and doing it now. Surround yourself with those types of people. And then you can share your ideas to that group, and it will get measured in the correct way. I think of some of the mentors that I had in my life, and there was a time like David Lindahl was one of my first mentors in multifamily. And I remember, I was talking about a deal, and he's like, hey, listen, if you do this deal, you don't need to be a part of my membership. Right? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm telling you not to do that deal. And he meant it. And like, it didn't feel like great mentorship. I was like, well, but I probably can see this deal. He's like, no. What you're not seeing is the 10 things down the road that I see that could go wrong, that will go wrong. And so I didn't do that deal. But someone else bought it, and guess what? All the things about that deal that he said was going to go wrong went wrong for that other person. So I'm so thankful that I took the time to surround myself with the right kind of people that would help mentor me when I'm in that little, hey, I need some help. And it's not hard. It's not hard, especially with technology today. It's not hard to be in these types of groups, to get on Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and find some people that have some experience that you can learn from. But truly, most of us have the wrong kind of friends. And the sooner you can understand that where you're going and where they're going is in complete opposite directions, the more you can go jump into the right group of people that will help foster your growth and will encourage you and will tell you that it's par for the course when you fall down. Like, that's just part of it. But they'll encourage you to get back up and keep going. And, and because that's the learning part. Most people are afraid to fail. Unfortunately, they're afraid to fail. And it's scary how in our school systems, failure is looked at in the wrong way. You take a test, you're either a good test taker or if you're a bad test. And if you're a bad test taker, you're labeled because you're a failure. You're failing. And see, in the business world, in real life, it just doesn't work that way. It really just does not work that way at all. The more you fail, the more you learn. And the great thing is it's a group test. It's always a group test when you're out in the real world. So if you need help on a project, you don't have to do it all yourself. You just call your friends. I'll give you a great example. Just happened, last 2 days ago. I'm looking for a referral to find a local lender in a market of Georgia. And I was really looking for like a credit union or a small local bank to do the $7 million loan. And so all I did was reach out. So like I could have like got into Google and searched for local banks, and it would have took me forever. And it may or may not have been the right places. And it could have been a very long, painful process. Instead, I went to my group of like-minded peers and I said, hey guys, I've got a problem. Here's what I'm looking to do. Do you have anybody that can help me? And immediately I got 3 referrals from a guy that's local in the area that I'm wanting to build. And they're all quality, and he gave me quality introductions, just like that. And so, but how did I get that? It's because I started to surround myself with like-minded people that were doing it to be able to partner with me and really just give me that advice. And so who you keep in your inner circle, it truly matters. Now, I want to go back on to that mindset matters and why it matters is we talked about, you know, all the destructiveness that's coming. And for me, I remember when I was early on, starting to raise capital, that I would have to sit there every morning and I would look in the mirror and I would tell myself every day, I mean, I did this every day, that I'm a multifamily millionaire and investors are lining up to see me because I know how to control wealth and make it grow. I told myself this day in and day out, 365 days a year for years before it was actually happening, right? But I believed it. I truly believed that. I knew I had the ability. I just knew it was going to take a little time. I didn't know how much time, but I knew that I just believed it with everything that I am, that would happen. And my friends, it has. So what you tell yourself daily, it matters. It really is. It matters more than you could ever know. Now, the next part of that, though, is having the belief, but it's also having a little bit of a roadmap, okay? A roadmap to get there. And roadmaps come in a lot of different ways and forms, but for me, it was always, I bought education. I've been a consumer of people's courses and education. I still buy stuff today. I still seek out knowledge. Now it's more in the form of masterminds than anything else. But I am still on a journey. I'm always a student. I told myself a long time ago that I would never get too big for my britches. Okay. And what that means is, hey, listen, we all put our pants on the same way, one leg at a time. Okay. You are never too good to be learning something new. And then you're never too good to be teaching what you've learned. See, I believe in every one of us, we should be a student first and then a teacher next. You got to teach what you know. The more you teach what you know, the better student you become. When you tell your thing 10,000 times of what you know, you actually are making yourself become an expert because you're getting better and better at describing what it is you know and how to do it. You get more efficient, you get more effective, you get power in telling people time and time again, and you start to feel it. It comes into your body and it radiates, and everybody has a voice. And that voice, my friend, you have a voice. I'm telling you right now, you have a voice and it matters. But you've got to tell that little thing inside you daily that you are the one, that you matter and that you can do this. And you have to tell yourself every day. And by, I call it setting up the plan. Once you get good intel, good information on how it works and what's the best practices, the goal then is just to repeat the recipe. See, most people go in and they start this thing and they're like, oh, I'm going to change this. Oh, I don't like this. I'm going to change that. That's bull crap. That's just crap, because it doesn't work that way, guys. Like, listen, if you find a mentor that's super successful and doing it now, just follow the freaking recipe. Don't even try to change any of the ingredients yet. You don't become a master chef and start changing ingredients until you've made it to master chef. See, you got to start off as the sous chef first. You got to do all the prep work. You got to understand all the little nooks and crannies first. And then you can go back and start changing some of the ingredients and putting your little twist to it. So that's the problem with most people. They always want to try to skip steps. And you just can't skip steps. You got to put in the work. And really that is setting up your plan, is finding good education. And by the way, if you're looking for some good education, yours truly has some. It's at kahunahq.com. And for only $97 a month, I've given you everything I've ever created. I mean, ever created in the multifamily business. My Raising Private Money course, my cash flow calculator, my underwriting software, how to find deals, teach you how to find brokers, how to get brokers lining up to show you their deals, using my forms and my LOIs and all the things we've created, all the tools that we've created and given you. It is unlike any other, and it's all there for $97 a month. Kahuna HQ. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch it right there just so you know that we have some. But listen, you don't just have to find mine. I don't care who you use, right? I'm just telling you that you've got to find somebody's system that works, and then follow it to the T. That's all I've ever done. I wrote my last book, Copy Your Way to Success, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. And it means what it says. I was never the sharpest tool in the shed, but I had a ferocity. I mean, I was relentless when it comes to execution. I could take someone's plan and I would follow it exactly. I'm really good at following directions, okay? I'm not good at making and creating directions as much. I'm a lot better now. I mean, I actually can tell it in a way, like when our course, we actually give it common sense how to get there. But in the beginning, when I was a young man, I didn't have that skill set. I had to actually develop that skill set. I had to get the confidence just to be out there in public speak. I was pretty quiet. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm a fairly quiet guy. I do this podcast and you're seeing my alter ego show up, but when I'm home or I'm working, I don't normally talk a lot. I don't need conversation. Listen, real estate's kind of a lonely world. You're kind of doing a lot by yourself. There's a lot of times where I'm just me and my computer, and I'm okay with that, right? But I forced myself to learn how to talk and communicate, because that's what happens. You just have to be able to be good at it. And that's just part of the course. And so I learned how to do that. And that's the thing. It can be learned. Most of these things can be learned. You know, you don't have to be great at it, but you got to learn the fundamentals. And then you can hire the people that you need to be great at certain things. I believe that with all my heart. And the last thing that I really want to talk about is, you know, being willing to fail. I feel like this is another roadblock that most people, when they come to it, man, I'm telling you, they're so afraid of failure. And guys, failure is where growth happens. You got to be willing to not fall just once, but a million times over, because every time you fall, you learn. Okay. Every time you scratch yourself, you learn, right? And what do we learn more from our successes or for our failures? I will argue with you that your failure is a bigger teacher. Failure is a way bigger teacher than success. Success, you know, feels good and it's great. Failure sucks, but I'm telling you, it teaches you a lesson. It teaches you a lesson. And I think we learn more from our failure. And so I'm going to encourage you guys all to fail forward. See, failure is not failure. It's just, here's the way not to do something. And you've got to look at it that way. You got to look at it. I just learned a way not to do something. And because of that, I'm going to now go this way and this way. And even when you go this way or that way, you could still fail again and be like, okay, well, that's not the way. Maybe it's this way, right? And that's all I've done along my journey is when I try to educate myself, I find people that are doing it and I follow the instructions. I do it exactly. And maybe it doesn't work for me. Maybe it doesn't work in that current market. Who knows? But I didn't take it personal. Sometimes I would lose some money, sometimes not. And then all of a sudden I'd find something that really works. I'm like, there we go. I'll do that. Like, that's working. I'm going to keep on with that. And then I try to get better and better and better at it. And so, you know, the fundamentals of apartments is, you know, finding deals, raising money, and operating to success, and then being able to sell for a profit. That's pretty much it. If you can do those four things, four key components of apartments, you can make a crap ton of money. I mean, you can set yourself up, not only set yourself up, but set up your family up and your family's family if you do it right. And so that's what I like. What drives me is legacy wealth. Those words, legacy wealth, means something. It's something special. And most people are just, working, that job just over broke, in bondage. And you, my friend, you're not destined for that. If you're listening to this podcast, you are special. You are unique. You have gifts that are dying to come out. You have been prepping your mind for success. And I'm telling you, don't worry about the how. You can get the how from lots of different people, but you've got to be hungry. You've got to be relentless. Your drive has to be as important as air, not as important as water or as important as food, but as important as oxygen, right? Because we can't last long without oxygen. That's how important your vision and, what you tell yourself in your mind, that's how strong it has to be, because that is what it takes to be successful. When I look at successful people, no matter what industry, whether it's movies, sports, anything where people have excelled to a certain level, the difference in almost every one of them was in their minds. They had a strong enough belief that they told themselves that I've got to do one more rep. I've got to do one more thing. I'm not going to settle for just mediocre. When everybody else is going home, I'm doing the work. I'm toiling in the night. I'm building my success and my future so I can live the life that I want, so I can be successful, so I can take out my kids, so I can be a full-time dad, so I can be a full-time mom, so I can matter in life. That's why you do this business. It's not about just making money. It's about making a difference. And guys, with that, I just want to leave you with this, man. You can do anything you put your mind to. Your brain is set up to give you that which you plant and grow. Guys, plant a forest and water that thing daily, because eventually it's going to be a great sight to see. And listen, you can do it all. You can have it all, but you've got to be willing to tell yourself daily and go towards that goal daily, and good things will happen. Because I truly believe, if you believe it, you can achieve it, and your paradise is possible.